Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio, and yesterday I made a video showing you how to make bobbins for your laces with the Cricut. Now, I actually use dies for these, but I'm going to back up for a second and I'm going to start at the beginning. And the reason I'm redoing this video is because I still wasn't happy with what I ended up accomplishing in the video. However, I had an idea and I'm much happier now, so I'm putting this at the beginning of that video. But if you want to see my process and see how I created these bobbins that I'm going to use, you can just stay tuned for that. It'll be attached to the end of this one. So right now we're going to go through the evolution of my ribbon storage, which started with these comic book cards. And I think this is the original. No, this is cut, must be cut in half. I'm not really sure. Anyway, they're comic book cards. They're stiff chipboard. And this is how I started wrapping my ribbons. And then I keep them in a decorative box. I'll insert the picture here. But it's kind of a pain to get to because it's in my closet. It's in a box. I have to go, the closet's crowded. I got a lot of stuff in there. Where I'd rather just have them hanging out here where I can see them and remember that I have them and be, inspired to use them. So this is the evolution of my ribbon storage. And I will put a timestamp down below if you just want to fast forward to the part where you can see how I actually designed this in Cricut. And the steps, I'm sure, would be similar no matter which machine you're using or software. I'm using Design Space, but it's probably very similar in the ones for the silhouette and the others as well. So this is what I started with, and I've had them on these boards now for probably at least 10 years, maybe longer. I don't quite remember when I went to this method, but it's been a while. So. And I've collected laces for many years for different projects, for Christmas stockings, for covered photo albums, for carousel quilts / unicorn quilt. Yeah, a lot of different things. And now I'm just trying to get them better organized. So this is how I started with this. Then just last year I went to these bobbins. Now these are dies that come in 3 separate sizes. And I believe this is the largest size. And I just layered up different layers of cardstock to get it stiff enough. And I used a decorative cardstock on the front. Now these worked good when I was hanging them on my pegboard. It just slips right on. The problem I had, and I'll go over that in the next video, is that if the one that I want is at the back, I have to take them all off to get to it. So I've realized that's not really working for me. It's not quick, and I tend to forget things really quickly anymore. So I'm looking for expedience as well as better organization. So yesterday I designed these. And actually, somewhere here, right here, I have one that's not covered up. And I did that by, well, I'll show you how I do that in the video. If you want to see that, it's in the following video. And they're pretty good. It's just a little bit flimsier here than I'd like, even though I've got 3 layers. I've got a core of chipboard. I've got this decorative paper from Hobby Lobby over the top. And then on the back, I have this beautiful blue color from Stampin' Up. Again, I discussed that more in the video to follow if you're interested, and I'll try to put links below. So these worked out okay. I just felt like this was a little bit flimsier than I wanted, even though it's perfectly fine for holding these. So last night I sat there and played around with a couple of other designs, and this one I used, it's a J. And I just used the middle to bottom portion of the J to cut that hook out. I thought I would like this better. And it does work. It works to slide on, to slide out. So you could certainly use that one. And it will be included, again, in the free file for Design Space that I'm going to include. But there you go. It just slides in, it slides out, or it slides through the hole. Works really good. But then I made my own bobbin shape using circles and then just kind of aligning them. And I thought this J looked too big. Or I say J, but this slot, we'll call it the slot. And it is bigger than it needs to be, so I thought I'd make it a little smaller. Well, it fits there okay. It goes around the corner if you angle this tip up and then nestles in there, but it doesn't come off the end because of these rubber stoppers. So that wasn't ideal. I cut that this morning. So then I thought, well, let me just do this. I've done it so many times now, I can do it pretty quickly. I did make my center hole a little smaller because the original one was 1/2 inch, and you can see how big that is. There's a lot of room in there. So I made it 0.35, and I still could have gone a little smaller, but I just wanted it to be able to slide in and out freely, and you can see that it does that. And it's really nice. The top, I gave a little bit more room at the top to make that a little bit stiffer, as you can see here. I think you can see. Well, let's do it like that. So this one's a little narrower. I don't know how much. Let's see. Let's do it like that. Okay, so you can see it's the one that I just made is almost double the width there. So it's a little bit stronger a bridge right there. And I like that. Plus, I love the way that slides on and off. I used the arc that's in the free shapes. I resized it till it would fit within the circle without overlapping and making the edges anything but round. And I like this. So this is the one that I'm going to be using for the duration of my project. But I wanted to include this here at the beginning because it's short, and I just wanted you to see that I have eventually come up with a better solution that I'm pretty happy with. So I've already cut out 4 cores, and then I will, and actually this is a thicker chipboard than what I used yesterday, so I don't know exactly where this came from, but I don't really need to layer this up other than I would like for it to look pretty. So I'll be using a decorative either scrapbook paper or cardstock on the front, and that is the evolution of my ribbon storage. And then I've got a bar that hangs. It's like a long U shape, and it goes and it clips into my, can't see that, it clips into the pegboard, and then it comes out and it comes across, and it's expandable. There's like a straw type piece that goes over the 2 ends, so you can kind of spread it out a little bit, and that's what these will hang on. So I will link everything I've mentioned below, and if you want to see how to actually make your own in Design Space, stay tuned, and I'll show you, and I will share this file with anyone who is interested. You just got to go to my Facebook group and join the group, and then you can download the file, or you'll have access to the file link for free. All right, so stay tuned. Decided I'm going to make myself some new bobbins for my laces and trims. I made these a while back, and I used dies to make these, and the set came with 3 different ones, and I thought they'd be perfect, and they do work really well. I do layer my cardstocks up just to get them nice and thick because I want to use a pretty cardstock. But what I have found, because I have so many of them, is that I have to, if this is the one I want and it's in the back and there's 6 or 7 in front of it, I have to take all 6 or 7 off to get this one off, which isn't the end of the world. It's easily enough done. I would just rather, though, be able to have something that kind of opens up here so it just slips on and off, where I don't have to take them all back off of the hook. So that's my goal today. I'm going to try to design something similar. It probably maybe won't be as fancy as this, but it will, hopefully I'll be able to do it in a way that I'm happy with being able to get it on and off the hook. So I kind of looked in Design Space. I did not see anything in Design Space that looked like something I was looking for. I just went and did a quick search under images for bobbin or a hanging bobbin, And it did come up with stuff similar to what I have, as well as a lot of stuff that's not anywhere near what I'm looking for. So here's kind of the general idea right here. And here's another one. So, but again, they don't have that open kind of hook area, so you can just pick something off and on without taking off the whole, everything that's in front of the one that you want. So I went ahead and expanded it a little bit just to see if, oh, except I didn't expand that, I closed it. I should have done it at the bottom here. But I still just didn't really see anything I wanted that was exactly what I wanted. And maybe it's because I don't know specifically what to call it. So not this, but similar to that, where it's open is what I'm looking for. So I think I'm going to have to make one. And I decided if I'm going to have to make one, I might as well record it. So I'm just going to put in bobbin without the hanging and see what else we get. So it does get rid of some of the extra stuff, but it still doesn't seem to pull in the exact type that I want. So rather than spend all day looking through however many 10,000 images, I'm just going to make my own, since it's a pretty simple task, I believe. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our first shape, and we want a rectangle. Now I do want it to go the other direction, and there's a couple ways I could accomplish that, but I'm just going to tell it to turn at 90 degrees. The other thing I want is, this is where you have some options. You can just pick a circle or one of these kind of flowery, or not flower, doily, scalloped kind of things. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to need just a plain circle to make a hole, and maybe something like this. I don't know. We'll try. We'll see. So I'm going to close that for now. This is going to be our bobbin, and these actually measure. That's a good idea to look. Let's try this one. It's not as well. 5, 6, almost a half. So 2.5 across, which is what this, well, except it's, because I flipped it, it's actually this. So let me change this to 2.5. And then, like I said, there's a couple things we could do. We could use this and just put it on the top. I don't really like the way that looks, but you could do it. I'm kind of thinking something along this line, and we need it to be a little wider than 2.5, otherwise you don't get that that recessed area that will hold your ribbon on the spool. So now I'm just kind of looking. I'm going to take another one of these. I'm going to put it back to 0. Oh, except I didn't duplicate it. Okay, well, now I did. So I'm going to kind of pull this up here, and I want to line it up. So this is the thing I've noticed with this scallop. It's not symmetrical when you try to go across. Let's just zoom in a little bit here. When you try to go straight across, you can see that over here it's at the perfect point of the valley, but over here it's in the middle of this scallop. So I'm going to turn this slowly till I can kind of feel like it's the similar, maybe something like that. What do we think? All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate that so I don't have to do all that again. I'm going to pull it over here out of the way, and then I'm going to slice this one. And what I want is this top. So we're going to get rid of all of this. I am going to duplicate this again, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to 90. It's just easier for me to visualize like this. Okay, so right off the bat, I do see something I don't like, and that is the way this just kind of gets cut off right there. So it gives you that flat, straight edge that's going to get bent and stuff. So let's just reverse. I think if we just undo everything, that'll be easier. Okay, so let's try, that looks like that's about right. So let's try just bringing this down to here. I don't know. I may end up simplifying this a little bit more because I'm not loving this. Or maybe we need to come up to something like that. But again, I'm not loving it. But I have an idea. I do have an idea. So let's go ahead and slice. That was a kind of hard word for me to say. It sounds funny when I say it. We're going to slice that one. We're going to go ahead and duplicate this one again. We're going to slide it over this way. And then we're going to flip it. And then I'm going to duplicate that so I don't have to keep doing that particular step. So now I'm going to kind of, so I'm going to have to enlarge this. And I think what I would like to do, let me zoom back out here, is take one of these, duplicate that, and let's see if we can't kind of, okay, I will have to unlock my proportions and come back, bring this back over here. I'm going to have to enlarge this again just to make it a little easier for me to see what I'm doing. I think I will go ahead and center those. So align and center, well, except that's not really what I want. What I want to do is center horizontally. There we go. So now I think if I take this, and I'm going to change the color just because I want to be able to see that a little bit easier. And I'm going to do this with it. And let's see, how do I want to do this? I'm going to enlarge that a little bit. Now, if I was just going to, I'm going to duplicate this real quick. There are different ways you could do this. Obviously, I'm trying to make it a little fancier than it needs to be, but I kind of like that. Now this side needs to come out a little bit more. Oh, okay. So let's get these centered horizontally. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to zoom back out. I'm going to duplicate that. I'm going to group it just so I have it. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to select both of these and I'm going to combine and weld. Then I'm going to duplicate that right there. And I'm going to flip it vertically. And I want to align these two. Well, let's just, I think we did it all, but just in case, let's do it again. So we're going to select all three of those pieces, align and center horizontally. Let's move that out of the way. So there you've got a pretty good sized bobbin. I kind of like, oh, let's see, this one needs to come down a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to select them all. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to group that together just so I have one. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to weld this one. All right, so there's our basic bobbin body. So I want to come back over here and I want to get this circle here because I'm going to make I'm going to make this hole in the center, and this is a little over at its height. It's a little over 1/2 inch, so let me go back up with this. And actually, let me go back into shapes. Maybe there's something that's a little bit more like the one that I have already. I don't really see one. So that's okay. We'll work with that. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. Sorry, I was just kind of thinking there. Again, I'm going to change the color just so I can see this a little better. And I'm going to bring it to the front and put it right about, gosh, let's align and center horizontally. And I'm going to go ahead and slice it. Okay, and so then this, I kind of want this to be, it's going to have to be smaller. I wish it was curved, but let's bring it to the front. Yeah, I'm not loving that. So, oh, you know what though? In the shapes, there's this piece here. Let's just go ahead and select one of those. And I thought there was another one. Well, that one's rounder or thicker. Okay, so we'll select the first one here, which is the segmental arch, and I'm going to select this moon shape or this crescent as well. And obviously that needs to be resized. I'm going to select both of those and make them blue, just so they stand out against this dark gray or black, whatever it is. So I'm going to flip this one vertically. It's going to have to be resized. And resize it a little bit more so it comes out past that. I kind of wish it wasn't so curved. Let me see, let me pull that down a bit. Actually, I feel like it needs to come up through there. So what if we do it like this? Or we turn it a little bit. I've resized it, so I've lost my, there it is, there it goes. Okay, so let's try it like that. Before I do that, we got to make another copy of that. So I am going to slice and there you go. It'll go in and it'll go up and it'll fit in there. I don't love this little point here, but I think it'll be okay. The other thing we can do is we can take this same one, we're going to duplicate it, and let's try it with the crescent. And I do want to turn that. I do also want to turn off or unlock my proportions so I can make that a little thinner. And we want to bring it to the front. And so now we're going to need to turn it some more. I'm trying to do, if I zoom in here, it'll be a little easier to see. What I'm trying to do is line up the top of this curve here with this point in the valley, this lowest point in this valley here. And might need to curve it a little bit more just to get it right where I want it. Let's stretch that out a bit. Okay. All right, I'm going to take and I'm going to slice. I need to keep saying that. For some reason I feel like I don't know, I just feel like I struggle with that L-I-S-L-I combination. Okay, so we're going to slice that out. Pull that all over there. Oh, there you go. I kind of like that one. Oops, going the wrong way. Zoom that back out. So either one of those would work. Let's see, what else can we do? If we wanted to just make this a little simpler, I'm going to get rid of that one. We'll keep this one. I'm going to get rid of that. Let's get another one of these. Oh, let's just do a... Actually, that's not what I want. Put that there. I want this. And I'm going to make something... We're going to do something a lot simpler. We're just going to do this. Now, we're going to... Obviously, we're going to resize that a little bit. Okay, let's duplicate that. And we're going to select all three of them and align, center horizontally. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I think I'm going to go ahead and, before I do that, I'm going to duplicate this piece again, just so I have it. Then we're going to select them all and combine and weld. Okay, that actually looks like a spool. So now I'm thinking what might be easier, instead of using just the shapes, is to use some text. So I'm going to type a J. Why a J, you might ask? Well, let me tell you. It's because it's got that nice hook on it. I'm going to pull it over here so that I can still see it when I open up. Well, guess I can't. Pull it back over here. Okay. I want something big and thick and well-rounded. Okay, that's a little too big and thick and well-rounded. So these right now are the, I believe they're the Cricut fonts. I have a lot of my own, but just to kind of keep this simple, we'll look at what's already in their system. I think that might work. All right, I'm going to close that. And let's see, how do we need to... Well, let's go ahead and flip it horizontally. And then turn it that way? No. Maybe I shouldn't have flipped it. Let's do it again. Oh, flip vertically. Okay. Let me change that color again. And oh, you know what I need to do? I need to find the center. So let's copy that circle. And we're going to center it horizontally. So align, center horizontally. And that looks pretty good. I might move it down just a little bit just to make that top part, that bridge there, a little bit stronger. Let me duplicate the spool. And I'm going to slice. Okay, so now I'm going to bring this back to the front. It's just easier for me to see what I'm doing. Maybe I need a different J. I thought this one would work, but now I'm not so sure. Let's go ahead and I'm going to try flipping it again. It shouldn't make a difference, but let's do vertical. Yeah, I don't want to keep doing that. All right, I'm going to see if I can find a better one. One that I think will work better anyway. All right, text. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let's go pick this and see what else we have. That's got a little less curve on it. That might be a better option. Let's try that. I'm going to change our color again. We're going to pull it. Wait. We're going to pull this one out of the way. What if it's... No, I don't want it like that. Might have been going about that all wrong. Let's see here. Yeah, it just doesn't change the size of the darn thing. Alright, let me try and change it this way. No, wrong way. Alright, I'm getting a little desperate here. I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna duplicate that J. Just slide it out of the way here. And I'm gonna turn it you know what, before I do that, let me get a little shape here. This little square will work. And I'm going to finish rotating this so it's straight up and down. And I'm just going to take the little points here on either side and remove those. Okay. Let's once again slice, my favorite word of the day. Get rid of all that. And then let's come back over here and turn it. Ultimately, I think I want it to come out through there. But we'll see. Might have to come. Let's copy that one and let's flip it vertically or horizontally or both. And we're going to kind of try and attach them. But alright, we are zoomed way in. I'm going to try and get this one just... Oh, that looks good. Okay. So I'm going to combine those and then weld them. And see, I feel like if that lines up there, it's Mo Betta, but I don't know that for sure. Now that I've combined them, maybe, now we're talking. Okay, I see what I got going on here. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back out. I'm going to get another square, just because I like working with squares and circles when I'm doing this kind of thing. And I'm going to turn it. I'm going to slice it. And then I'm going to bring the same square over here and do the same thing on this side. Once again, we're going to slice it. Okay, I think now I can probably get rid of some of this stuff. And I'm going to, let's just get rid of all that. I've got too much stuff on my desk, and decided I didn't like that one. Alright, so I'm going to zoom back in, and that point is sticking out a little bit too far that way, so I'm going to grab my shapes again. I'm going to close that down, and I'm just going to kind of pull it in there and give it a slice. Oops. Alright, so I'm going to get rid of that, that, and now we're going to select both of these. Whoa, I didn't mean to move it. We're going to zoom back out so you can see better. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select both of these, and we're going to slice, hopefully for a final time. And I'm just going to get rid of all those pieces parts. And there you have it. So your hook will slide up and then into the hole there. And that should hold it. So I'm probably going to use that one because I do think I'm the happiest with it. It's not fancy, but you know what? It doesn't need to be. So I'm just going to move some of this stuff. This one probably would be okay. Again, I don't know. I'll leave that. Oops. I'll leave some of these in there. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of that. Get rid of a lot of this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I will put this one, I don't think I need that either. I'm going to group these and hide them. Group. And then hide. And then I'm going to group these and hide them. So that just leaves your basic spool. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change the color. So there we go. So these are going to be the two spools that you'll see, but the others, all the play stuff is still available over here in these hidden groups. If you want it, I'm going to go ahead and cut one of these out and give it a test run. And because I'm still trying to organize my craft room and make it's a work in progress constantly. Just trying to find better ways to do it and be more efficient. And I've got a lot of pegboard space. Well, not a lot, but I've got enough that I'm not using that this could make a difference. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some of these out, and then we will be back. All right, we're back. So I went ahead and cut out several different layers because I just didn't think any of my cardstocks, my decorative cardstocks, were sufficient weight to be able to hold up as these bobbins. So my core layer is just this chipboard, and I saved this from a job I used to work at. It came in packs of forms on the top and the bottom just to help keep them straight and not from getting bent. And so it's not super strong, but I started with that. So it's just a thin chipboard. So you could even use cereal boxes or Kleenex boxes or whatever. Then for one side I found this, I love blue, And I found this Azure Afternoon from Stampin' Up. I've had it for a little while and I hadn't even opened the package, so I cut a layer out of that, and then I cut a layer out of this what is it, blue, here, let me just pull this up. See, oh, it's not on that corner. You know what, it's on this one. It's from Hobby Lobby. It's from the Paper Studio, and it's called Blue Alcohol Ink Foil. And I just thought this was so pretty, and I just bought it because it was pretty. I didn't have an intended use for it, but when I saw it laying over there on my desk or one of my tables, I thought, well, why not use it for this? So I'm going to go ahead and cut everything out. I've cut 12 of everything. So there's the core layer, the back layer, and then the front layer. And then I'm going to keep these little pieces here just because I think they'll look good under like a sentiment or something. So I'll cut those out later. And we'll get rid of that. And so here you can see we've got all of our, got those hooked together somehow, all of our pieces. So actually this one will go here. Now, because I didn't mirror anything, it's going to be okay because I used a solid core cardstock. If you're using a white core or something that's only printed on one side, you'll want to remember to reverse or mirror image your parts, your cuts, whichever ones you need. So I'm just going to sit here, I'm just going to glue them together like that, and they will be then ready to hold some of my fancy ribbons and trims that I use on junk journals or, well, any number of things really. So gluing them together is next. Alright, I've only glued 4 of them together because my hand hurts from squeezing the bottle, so I'll have to finish them later, but I wanted to at least show you what I'm talking about in case you're curious. So I'm going to pick one of my ribbons out of this bin here, and we will wrap it up. Now you will want to make sure your glue is dried, but I'm pretty sure mine has. And I would have to pick a frilly one that's going to twist and turn on me. Oh, it's a short piece. Anyway, you're just gonna, you know what, I'm gonna pick something that's gonna be a little easier. Let's do this. So you're just gonna wrap it around. And when it comes to the end, you can either tape it or use a pen. I will use a pen. And by tape, I mean something that's not super sticky. You don't want it to pull up the finish of your paper there. So I'm going to grab a pen here. And I'm just going to push that in there. And we'll finish doing this piece. So this was an assorted package that I think I picked up at Hobby Lobby. I will not swear to it, but I'm pretty sure that's where it came from. So I'm going to take another pen. Ideally these would be in one long piece, but that is not how these came. And I'm just going to push that in there. So we have some room here at the top, so let's pick another one. This one looks like it might be okay. Oops. So just gonna kind of start right about there and then give it a, make sure I hang on to it while I start wrapping. And you can be as neat or as quick about this as you want. I'm kind of in a hurry here, so again, I'm just going to take this pen and push it in there. Well, maybe I'll go this way. I have smaller pens, which might have been a better option, but that's okay. Oh, we don't want it sticking out the end like that. You'll get poked. So pull that back in. All right, so we've got another piece of that. We're just going to wrap it up the same way. And the other thing about doing this with the Cricut versus dies is you can resize them to make them bigger or smaller. I mean, you could make one fit a whole page if you wanted to. You could probably wrap then many multiple pieces, different types of lace around it if you did it that way. Okay, hold that down and start again. I had a knot in it. Well, I still do apparently. It's hard to hang on to it. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to keep wrapping. So if I were going to make more of these in the future, which I think I probably will because I've got some stored in my closet in one of those big decorative boxes, I would cut them out. I would adjust this because even though I pulled that center hole down, it's still a little flimsier there than I'd like. Now you can bulk that up by adding more layers, and truth be told, it will probably be fine. It's just going to be hanging there like this. Let me grab a hook. Okay, these are the hooks that go in my pegboard setup, and this would then hang on the hook like so. So you don't even really need to make, I didn't need to make the hole as big as I did, so I probably would adjust that and make it smaller because you can see I've got quite a bit of room there. But it hangs up on there nicely, and then I don't have to take everything that's in front of it off to put it on or take it off. So I will make some more of these. I'm going to go ahead and share this file with anybody who's interested. Just go to my Facebook group and you'll be able to find the link to the file if you're interested, and then you can modify it however you see fit, or you can make your own. Maybe you do want something a little fancier. You know, it's easy enough to do. So but I'm definitely going to make that hole smaller. It did not need to be a 1/2 inch. I think a 1/4 inch would have been, well, I guess all told, it is roughly a 1/4 inch, but I think I could have made it 1/8 of an inch and it would have been fine. So I will probably cheat and just use the offset to close that in some. But yeah, how easy is that? So like I said, if you want the free file, it's going to be on my Facebook group, and I don't know what else there is to say about that. So I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks again for joining me. This is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio, and I hope you have a happy crafty day.